What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of D&D, that's Dial and Discover. I'm Calvin Mercy, and I'm here with my brother, Siam Khungu.
What's good, brother?
How you doing, my brother?
Bless my dope.
Good. Another episode,
Yeah.
another season, just another
Another
one.
Another level. Another day, another dollar.
100%.
Yeah.
How things going?
Yeah. Good, bro. You know, we're backing
Yeah.
in.
Most definitely.
It's good. Springboks won. We're happy. You know what I'm trying to say?
We up for real. Shout out to the Springboks. Like it's such a huge thing. Like to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
I think people don't understand, especially something that only comes like every 4 years.
Bro.
You know, and it's periodical, right? And the fact that there's so many people so many countries that come into the equation.
Yes.
And out of all of that,
Yeah.
you come out on top.
Bro. Fourth time
I think that's crazy. Four
in
times.
history. Nobody's done no more.
That's insane.
And technically, you know, with our competitors, we were last to arrive to the party because before 95, we weren't allowed to compete because of the racism and so on and so forth. I think New Zealand Bombers, they first won like 1980, what? You know what I'm trying to say? Whereas for us, 95 is the first one, you know, and then we hit the other three like that.
So we came in late, but we still bombered them.
Like the Bible, those who are first to be last. Those who are last to
100%.
be first.
I think it's such a big chat because like we've had such I think just a powerful period and pocket that we've been in. I mean, Springboks winning is such a huge thing for South Africa, but then right on top of that, it highlights all the SA teams as well, which just been on a conversation I've been having in different, like, you know, just different settings that SA reflects such powerful unity at times. Like there's this thing that we have that when we come together, we really come together.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got the rugby team happening, you've got the cricket team happening, you've got the hockey team, you've got the netball team. Like, and in hindsight, it's like SA's got some of the best sports teams in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're talking like teams that are in the top 3 consistently, right? If they're not number 1, they're there. Because like in the cricket, of course, like India and them are like really solid.
Yeah.
But like on a good day, they might just catch you.
Also, man, I know, like, yo, sorry to the boys, I know they lost. But India's tricky, man, because that's low-key all they do, bro. If you really think about it. And I never seen an Indian team in the Soccer World Cup. I don't know. I could be wrong. I never seen them bring us play rugby. You know what I mean? So we love it. We love it. We love it.
India's hard on the tech, guys.
In the tech.
India's hard on the tech, so don't play with the boys.
They probably
Don't
invented the
play with the
TMO. Innit?
Yeah, you understand.
I feel you.
But you know,
I just mentioned the sports. Like, come on, doesn't make you a bad guy. All the Indians will be saying, like, that phone you have, my brother.
Trust me, the iOS you have is coming from the boys.
No, 100%.
But I think the bigger conversation that is basically being had, and I'm sitting looking back at it, and immediately, which is funny, like as the game is happening, I'm already just like if we win this, the prices goes up.
Across the board.
Like that's already, I'm just like the value of the players, the value of the team, the value of the brand. But the bigger conversation becomes like with all the SA teams like really performing the way they are. And in fact, I think in addition, which is something you mentioned as well, which is the fact that in the same timeline, Amapiano in the world is doing what it's doing.
Bro.
In the same week that the Springboks win, Tyler's hitting all the numbers. Like she's running up the charts.
Bro.
Up till Billboard?
Up till Billboard. Jimmy Fallon.
That's
like
insane.
Ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
And it's beautiful to see because even with the whole rugby elements and so on and so forth, you know, you realize that you spoke about certain nuances and elements, you know, that bring us together as a nation, you know. Nobody, I was watching the whole Rugby World Cup kind of, there's a lot of pages that emerged, and you know what I'm trying to say, and the comments are hectic, you know. Like, I think since we beat France, it just went very toxic for SA, you know. People coming at us from all angles in the world, you know what I'm trying to say, like, referees cheating, this, your kickers, wada.
I think I peeped a few of those.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way our people pull up on those comments, and I'm used to black Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But when I see Afrikaans Twitter and colored Twitter and Indian Twitter and black Twitter on one narrative, where they're all kind of backing our boys and saying, yo, you better chill with that chat, or whatever the case is. It's like, it's so great to kind of see that unity. So when you fast forward to us winning it, you see the physical effects when the boys come back. Bro, our Tambo was to the brim.
Bro, I was seeing all the content.
Bro.
I'm just like, that's so crazy.
Even the touring, like every street corner.
But then again, here's my thing. Our sports create such great unity,
Yeah.
right? And when we're talking about the brand SA conversation, like I feel like we don't reflect that
Yeah.
enough.
We don't even recognize it's a brand. That's the first
Let's
chat.
go there, right?
Right.
And when you're seeing, I mean, what you're talking about, like you're seeing in the comments, you're seeing all different types of like races coming together like that, not just on social, on physical,
Yeah.
and all because of the SA conversation,
Yeah.
right? Because it's really not about rugby.
No.
Like,
No.
don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
It's not about rugby.
Yeah.
It's really about the SA conversation.
Yeah.
And now, which kind of brought up the conversation of like, how do you translate that across the board?
Yes.
That became like the question that popped up. It was also like, it's something that I was wondering as well from a, a position of like brand architecture, like how do you translate that across the board? And crazy enough, like if somebody's watching from Proudly SA, please hit us up.
Yeah.
Like hit us up because it's a
Yeah.
whole
We'd
conversation.
love to have that chat.
We have a whole Proudly SA campaign or category or department, etc. That doesn't translate like that impact and that powerful and that loud and that strong. And I'm like, what are we missing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we take from that and translate it down? Because as soon as you have, you've got the America conversation, which will go down that route as well, where it's a country being the brand. And the same way people wear Nike so confidently, you could wear the SA flag so confidently, which is also another chat because like our politicians don't even wear it that confidently.
Facts.
Right?
Until sports and
Until sports in
right.
there.
Well, let's look at it, right? So
Yeah.
so what is that differential? And I think for me it's very unique in rugby specifically, right? So if we look at the attributes of why people rally up and do all the stuff that they do, because we don't do that for Bafana. Yes, we're not winning, but that's besides the point, We're not doing that for the cricket. I mean, nobody really knows what's going on in the cricket, and we got to the semi-finals. So if you look at how the product was built for rugby, it came down to the first time our Blues were operating, they win it. But the narrative is Nelson Mandela lifting the cup 1 year after he became president, 1995 World Cup. He's standing there with Francois. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Whole bunch of white people on stage, but a few trickles of black people because now we're allowed to be in one space. So for me, it's like that's the first trophy we had as a united nation.
Okay.
So then those nuances kind of then continue through rugby. We have the best development because in Eastern Cape, huge developments in KZN, under 19, under 9, under 10s and 11s, under the high schools. Rugby is a culture. Craven Week, you know what I mean? So we're really getting behind it on all levels. So our rainbowness is very well represented from the core structures of us winning the World Cup, infiltrating into the schools.
Are you thinking, or like are you saying that the narrative gets carried
Yes.
the whole time?
Yes.
Interesting.
So when we get to the States, we'll also identify their narrative. So let's actually break it down. Let's look at South Africa as a brand, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Our brand is very vibrant, very colorful. Indian, black, 11, 12 official languages, Rainbow Nation. That all speaks to color, speaks to vibrance, it speaks to what I mean? And then we have the elements of just being free-spirited. Bro, I can't find a better TikTok than South Africa TikTok. The type of content we create, bro, it's just like, it's vibrant.
It's a vibe. It's colorful.
It's,
right.
Bro, we turn nothing into something. Some ideas just like, how did somebody even think about that?
And from a bad to good, because you find the humor in the
negative elements. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me, it's like those elements and nuances are what brand us, right? So we have those attributes. But now we need to look, because we're all speaking about, product, packaging, distribution. 100%. So cool, that's probably our product. Nelson Mandela fought for us. The Tiger Woods will talk about it. The Lewis Hamiltons will talk 100%. About it. That's a brand on its own that's affiliated to the country. Do you know what I mean? So we also have that element. So cool. So then how we package this is in different various types of ways. But now what happens is what draws people to us is those attributes that our nation possesses. Because we are very, in the African landscape, we are somewhat the LA/New York of Africa, you know. Infrastructure.
That's still the,
Yes, still the part of the brand, right?
For sure.
Infrastructure, the roads, the buildings, the
Yeah.
access, richest square mile in Africa, Santon, you know.
Yeah.
So those attributes also come in. But what I've noticed, is that we also don't have as diversity. When you hit Zimbabwe or you hit Zambia or you hit these other nations, you don't find as many white people as there are black people. In most places in the world, you know what I mean. So it's like even us having that in Africa, really, so even us having that like that rainbow nation unity sort of element definitely does come into play. So now when you step into a different country in Africa, you really realize how much your brand comes into play. Because you can be sitting in a room like this, Calvin. Maybe somebody else might really be like, that brood looks different, but whatever, right? But the minute they say, yo, where you from? And you say, I'm from South Africa. The chat changes. You can see it change, you know?
100%.
And a good friend of mine helped me understand this a very long time ago, because he's not from South Africa, but he's done a lot of business here. And he said, bro, we are running all our business off of the South African brand, even back home. So when we say we are selling this, or we provide this service from South Africa, our website is .co.za, not .com. We want brand SA. We want people to know that, yo, this is SA. You know what I mean? And I think that all kind of sits off of the back of the brand.
That's interesting. I think that's so powerful just for brands in SA.
Yes.
You know, because the last part that you mentioned becomes so crucial, because there's a lot of brands in SA that almost want to disassociate. And I think in a time like now where Africa is such a big conversation, but like right now specifically, SA's value like just went up. The disassociation is kind of like not a real thing. Like you really want to lean into the association, like you're saying, and understanding the translation or what it looks like outside the country as well.
Yeah.
I think to what you're saying, like with one of the biggest things is like, I feel like what would happen is if we, you know, as an economy and as a people, community coming together and being essentially like proudly South African in that sense of not necessarily just because like something is quote unquote originally from South Africa, but I think just for the fact that, you know, you're from South Africa and this product serves a South African community, even if it also serves abroad. Just that aspect of as well kind of just translate to the bigger equation and the bigger conversation. The same way, you know, everything from US is tagged. Everything.
And China.
Everything from US and China. Because it's made in China. You understand?
Yes. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah.
Everything is made in China.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Made in China became, that's their thing. Made in China.
That's their proudly South African.
African.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe like that's the route they were trying to take with the proudly South African. To put that on every product or whatever the case is. But then again, what does that even mean?
Facts.
Proudly South African.
Facts.
I think that's where we kind of missed it. You know,
Yeah.
and I always come down to like the basic thing. Because what brands are concerned is like, you must represent the brand in all ways. When we talk about whatever we're talking about, when we talk about companies, etc., you easily just go like, so you see like Sway Digital, etc., like that. You know, when I step into the room, whatever, it's like it's Calvin Mercy because Mercy is Silver Mercy. You carry the brand. I think as SA, we don't carry it like that.
Interesting.
So I'll explain my whole company and my whole play, and I won't mention SA until you ask me where I'm from. Right. Instead of we're a company from South Africa that does ABC.
Well, I guess maybe in the same breath that the Chinese and the factories don't say, buy this, I made it in China. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because it's probably difficult to see and sell your value as yourself. You know what I mean? How many times do you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, yo, I'm Calvin Mercy, man? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Nobody does that because they're themselves, right? But the minute you have to introduce yourself and sell yourself to somebody else, you put your brand out there and you say, yo, I'm Calvin Mercy. So I think the made in China thing is probably even more popular and we're more cognizant of it outside. Okay.
I'm going to disagree.
You're going to go to America.
100%.
Fair.
With their chest.
Fair. Yeah.
We're an American company.
What's their tagline? Not the land of opportunity.
Something
Something
land of the
around
free. Something like
ne?
that.
Yeah.
But that's the opening line.
Yeah.
We're an American company that does 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Fair.
That's the opening line.
Yeah.
And that's for a reason, because everything is tagged, and the value of the flag, the value of the name America.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Right?
I'll ask this question then.
Okay.
Where is America in their cycle of 3? The one we always talk about.
Yeah.
Product, packaging,
packaging,
distribution. Versus where we are in our cycle.
Their distribution.
And where we at? 29 years old?
I would say packaging.
I think so too.
I would say packaging.
I definitely think so too.
But which is it is a tricky conversation to say, because remember, you could still package a bad product.
You can still, and if you're looking at America, they
did that. They did the whole
Quick.
white gloves and we're the most incredible.
Quick.
Right?
I even feel like they might have even skipped the package. They said, while we package, we distribute.
We distributed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they definitely did distribution, and like far beyond that though, because they've distributed a bad product.
Yes.
But they did it. They ran that play long enough before we're only realizing it now.
Yes.
So they capitalized
because
on
of the internet,
on a bad product, most definitely,
Yeah.
right? You have new age, and now the information is moving faster.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I think we have that opportunity though, because we're in that gray area, like you said, second stage, where we can take a step back and make sure the product is proper.
Yeah.
Which generally you should, if you're able to recognize that, because I think the worst thing you can do is distribute a bad product.
Absolutely.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Right? So in this case, it's like we have that opportunity to essentially step back and make sure, because yes, we have issues like right now where, value up, SA, Springboks, etc., but still load shedding, our president's still our president. It is, you get what I'm saying? So that type of stuff.
Right.
Whereas I think, I don't know, this happening a couple years back maybe, or this happening a little bit more forward, kind of sits a little bit different in the ecosystem. Because also at the same time, then this is the tricky thing about like the branding conversation and your brand kind of going out like that, is that it goes out and like the world catches this conversation. Oh snap, South Africa, world champions, da 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 da. But then it's like, yo, is that the same South Africa where power just goes out? Like,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
Whereas
It's
we
like-
should be getting people pulling up on some, yo, I'm finna go to SA
Because,
and just see,
man,
because man,
It's lit out there.
It's lit out there.
It reminds me, especially while we're speaking about,
Yeah.
the whole Paris and World Cup thing. It's like that whole derivative of us giving Zimbabwe a video, right? Because it was the Eiffel Tower, and this guy just literally went on the streets of the Eiffel Tower and shot how many street vendors were there and how many like hobos were walking past. But the perception and the distribution is a magnificent thing, which in retrospect is a zoomed out image.
Yes.
Because you don't see the Eiffel Tower from the first 2 or 3 layers.
crazy.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like when you hit the ground, my man, then you realize it's okay, actually this thing's like that. Hence I said the insights like that. Bro, most places in the United States of America, like, it's probably better now, but I was fortunate enough to go to the States before the incident of the thing. I was still a kid, and my heart was shattered because I'm like, why am I driving past places that look like El Lamont, Dubane,
Exactly.
Because the Hollywood sign is almost set on like just the hill where you can really see the prolific element. But what surrounds that could be very scary. But we are sold this distribution and like, the image of like, yo, fine state, bro, I look for the Kim Kardashians for weeks, my brother. You know what I'm trying to say? Come like, yo, I'm finna step into this joint and be like, yo, you know what I mean? But and it's not the case,
It's not.
So I think that branding thing is so right. Like, you can package and brand a terrible product.
you definitely can. So I think like we're in a very interesting position as like brand SA.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And that goes literally even for the companies and different brands out there, because as we go out in our different occupations and in different forms going overseas right now, and you saying you from SA, what a lot of people don't understand is that we become the representatives. We become the diplomats almost of this brand. And too many. What we've had though is that we've had a lot of people that went out and kind of wanted to disassociate. The beautiful thing about it right now is that we're given these reasons to associate. But what I'm saying is that as a community, as a country, we should create even more value around this momentum, because it's really just that momentum. America really just created around all the different movies and content and things like that.
Which is great to control.
Which is right now we have that content that there is no restriction around. So you don't need to go through the Hollywood lane or movie lane to try get that essay content out. You can hit TikTok, etc. and we go on, right? And right now, piano just being one of the biggest products out of essay right now, right up there with the Springboks. I think, I mean, when you're on 4 championships, you're right up there.
You're right up there.
You know, that's a big thing, and that's a crazy thing. And that, I was even saying to guys in the room, I said, it's exactly, with the Springboks conversation, I said, it's exactly why you support what is from SA. You don't need to understand the game of rugby. You just need to support it because it's from SA.
Proudly SA.
The responsibility, though, is that you got to produce a product that is as quality at a world stage quality. And that is why everybody can easily back up a Springbok, because it's at a world stage quality. The only thing is people want to cop out of world standard to say it's from South Africa. And I'm like, that is a limitation.
It's from South Africa.
This one here.
To the world.
You got to take it to the world. You understand?
I mean, I remember we were releasing Out the Country together. And the people, they were trying to get us to go out the whole time. And the only way we did, I think we hit like a whole club and a whole spot. And we said, you need to put a TV screen here. And we need to watch the semi-final of the World Cup.
We need to watch that rugby.
You know?
The SA's playing.
We were weird bruised for 5-10 minutes. But because we carried it with our chest, the whole room backed the boys. And we kind of like, you know, we won. And I'm not saying it's because we were in the room, but I'm saying it's because we were in the room.
But I mean, that in itself, that example is very incredible, because we got a whole spot to now be tuned into this, because we said it's a whole thing. And it's really that. And hence why I say, where country's brand is concerned, I think there's no country that's done it as big as US and China. And that's a page that we can take, and we're not the end of our lane. I think they are. We're not at the end of our lane, and I think it's an interesting time to be in. It's an interesting time to be South African right about now, in the conversation of Africa just being a powerhouse in the world right now. Or establishing to be that.
So looking at our brand positioning as South Africa in the country, then looking at a great, profound example such as America, who has killed it across the board, you know what I'm trying to say? And not leaving nations like India. I mean, India was on the ball very, very quickly. 100%. What the Indians have as an advantage is, which is similar to China, a lot of these guys don't have to go out because they have enough numbers internally. Do you know what I mean? Like China can drop an app today and be the biggest app in the world just from Chinese.
Population, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Same thing with the Indians, the technology, the tech, all that sort of stuff. They were very quick to the movie stuff as well. Bollywood, break it down, that's a huge thing.
No, it's a huge.
It's industry. Massive.
It's,
you know,
literally it's Hollywood, Bollywood, and Nollywood.
And Nollywood, yes.
Literally that order.
And those people are gods in India. Like the Bachchans are gods. Like Sessions and Lucas are gods.
Hectic.
Just and it embodies what you're saying. Like they running with their chest. Like if you're the greatest, like Sia Kolisi for President's a cute narrative. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing for us. But if he was in India, he'd be a god.
100%.
Literally. You know,
it's insane when you see the translation. It's so insane. But I mean, that's the power of, you know, wearing it with your chest and navigating it like that, and which I think Sia does carry that power. Because he carries it so confidently and without a flinch anywhere in any conversation. And I think people don't understand that power.
They said to Rassi when you appointed him as captain for the first time, his kids in school were getting told that go to your father and tell him that, swear words in between, I'm just giving you a clean version, right? And tell him that he must stop selling out just to get a check or to win the favor of people. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, first black captain, like that's a difficult call to make.
Very.
You know, but he said, but I think now we're learning, at least those who didn't in the past, what Sia embodies and his character and why he's put in that position. You know, it almost has like that Nelson Mandela unifying effect of like,
Back to what you're saying, the narrative.
The narrative.
I think what you were saying there was very powerful, and I wanted to kind of like maybe let me land it was that
Yeah.
in a brand setting, there needs to be the narrative and story that you're telling because people buy into that.
Yeah.
It's almost like how we say like Nike doesn't sell shoes.
They sell story.
They sell stories. They sell narrative.
Which is?
You know what I'm saying? I think they sell different, but it's to say that we're part of the community and we are the community.
Yeah.
You know, we're a reflection of the community because imagery and storytelling, they tell the people stories. They don't tell their own.
Exactly.
They don't say we are.
No,
and
they tell.
No.
Yeah.
This is how we look or whatever, which a lot of luxury brands tell stories of what they look like.
100%.
Where Nike reflects what the people look like.
And the constant element through all the reflections of the people is just doing it.
100%.
No matter who you are, we're going to take
what
you
race,
just doing
where
it.
you're from, what
Yeah.
color, whatever. Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
that's power.
think just that consistency of the narrative. So I think even when you're kind of coming down to that decision of a Sia Kulisi conversation and you threw it back and I didn't even think about it like that. Hence why I highlighted it because it's like, yo, that's crazy because it's like, it's just bringing back to the fact that this thing was so powerful. And I wonder what he has to say about that quote. And I know he wrote a book, so I wonder if he mentioned it in the book, actually, which is to say that this sport was that powerful that it held this change in the beginning. And even now, it still carries that same power of change. And that's the brand that is the Springbok by actual fact as a team.
Yep.
Right? That we carry the power that is this change in our country.
In our country.
And when you have that happen a couple of weeks ago, that's
like,
crazy.
Even it's a bit, although they call him Elizabeth,
It's a bit.
Right?
Yeah.
Singing Siola. Yo, my man.
Hey, my man.
That's a whole different chat, bro. And how that's such a ripe thing in the middle of almost like the most white dominated sports in history in South Africa. And you're almost like, yo, it's just it's beyond, But anyway, so to move forward on it, so cool. We understand our own brand. We understand the global trajectory of brand, you know what I'm trying to say, and America killing it and China killing it and so on and so forth. But what's very interesting to watch still on the sports elements with countries and brand is what's happening in the UAE, right? Yeah. When you're watching a lot of these Emiratis investing in sports.
I think it's incredible and I think it's freaking brilliant.
It's brilliant. I mean, first you hit the World Cup, then you buy the biggest player in the world, quote unquote, you know what I'm trying to say? And you bring him into your ecosystem. You shift that entire fan base to be watching that and, like just the different sporting initiatives, the F1 going there, the festivals that are happening, the investment in music in Africa. They fly out influence, bro. They fly influencers from the world to go shoot content to Dubai.
Trust me, I know about it.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Trust me.
What's her name? Oh. So bro, I'm joking. So anyway, essentially.
No, it's a whole thing because when I went to Dubai and I saw Tabzi on a billboard somewhere in Dubai, I said, these guys are serious. They're not playing. But the football move or the sports move is very powerful because the guys essentially are saying, we're not going to wait for the world to kind of catch on us or for us to go to the world. We're going to bring the world to us.
People closer here.
Yeah, people closer here. And I think that's also one of the things that we can take note of and learn as a nation for sure, is that we've done a lot of going.
Yeah.
We definitely have.
Yeah.
But I think this time around, it's also bringing people to us as well because like there's a whole thing here. There's a whole experience here. There is a difference like when you go experiencing Amapiano in another country versus in South Africa at Carfax. It's not the same thing.
Different.
It's not. Like, there's a whole boiler room experience that was curated by Angelic.
Oh, I peeped that one, my boy.
At Carfax that had Kabza, that had, Angelic himself, Kamo, Dos.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw K-Met. And that was that experience was the epitome of piano.
Bro.
Like you put somebody in that, and that's the thing, it's hard to curate that back home, back in another country, excuse me.
From that,
yeah.
And it's still on a piano.
100%. Because of the energy in the room.
The culture, the
Most
dance, the language,
chants.
the chants,
Exactly.
the movement, the dress code.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's huge.
So to what you're saying is really that.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we've gone out, and even
Yeah.
now, I mean, I'm not against people going out. I'm saying go out to bring back in.
Yeah.
Because here is a whole thing.
Yeah.
SA in Africa.
I would love to see our country get to a point where we are rallying behind each other consistently and not just in
100%.
campaigns. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
The 2010 World Cup was an amazing experience. It really, really was, and it just shows the potential of what this country could have if we invested more time in people coming in and experiencing it. Because most of the bros who hit our country right now, they touch Europe, which is Cape Town.
Yep.
And they're all camping there, the biggest celebs and whatever.
Yeah.
So not really, really feeling it, because ain't nobody also trying to venture into Kailicha if you're coming from Hollywood, because unless it's like a cultural whatever experience, you know, you're not gonna really feel what's going on the ground. So I just wish that we had a lot more confidence in ourselves. I wish that our infrastructures would back us more to make the South African tourism a real thing.
That's what we're really saying.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, what a time right now. What a time right now. And I think, you know, we're moving in a, what's happening right now is a positive direction.
Right.
And let's just work on that momentum and see where that goes. You know what I'm saying? I think I believe in our people so much. I'm definitely a product of Proudly SA, and I'm a product of Proudly African as well. We are, you know, and we stand by it, and as much as we travel and do what we do, that's what we live on, most definitely. But yeah, shout out. I think this was a good conversation, just based on the fact that, you know, what's happening in our country right now, and how our people can just translate that in terms of what they're doing and where they stand in the narrative, and where they fit into the puzzle.
And the plot twist is, you know, I mean, we're working towards having one united Africa. Hopefully, we'll need visas to travel into our own countries. You know what I'm trying to say?
It's happening.
It's in the process gradually.
When you see, like, weekly, different presidents are coming out and cutting the visa conversations with different countries.
Right.
Crazy enough, I just came back from Rwanda, Kigali, and the president, he just came out as well and kind of wiped out a couple of African countries off the visa list, which is really dope and incredible. So it makes movement so much easier, makes trade so much easier, etc. So I think we're heading in the right direction. Yeah,
100%. And I just wish that everyone could, you know, obviously you learn a lot when you travel the world. For sure. Different perspective, different exposure. I'm just say it's a gift. But the reason I want our people to travel the world is they can realize how much gold we actually have here.
Yep.
My boy, it's hard for me to spend more than a week out this country. It's difficult. You know what I mean? From the food, to the conversation, to the culture, to the nuances, there's just a lot of, it's just these small things, you know what I mean? And if that could happen, we'd realize how much gold we actually have here, excuse the pun, and we can actually start feeding more value in ourselves and going as hard as the people that we idolize in America and all over else in the world, you know? Because there's something very, very special happening in this continent. I can tell you for free.
That's on God, bro.
Yeah.
That's really on God.
But they're going to see it. Uncle Waffles is opening the doors.
Yeah,
and so is Black Coffee. And so is to some better. And it's crazy because there's also so many of them that we don't know. And I'm not talking the Doja Cats. I'm talking the ones that we actually like, people are in tech, like latest inventions in tech. And like, 100%. Bro, it's incredible. So it's just a matter of time.
It is. It really is. Yeah. Shout out.
Softly.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please do continue to like, comment, subscribe, share your comments with us. Share your questions that you may have with us. Do continue to engage with us. We do appreciate you. I think, you know, for season 2, we just want to be a lot more engaged, increase a lot more engagement with you guys. Yeah. And just bring you guys the content that you guys are looking for. So if there's anything that you feel like you want us to do an ad, or somebody you want us to basically speak to and have a conversation with, shoot us that conversation.